Okay.
Is it? Oh, it is a little bit. Great, rain. Off to preschool. Always a fantastic opportunity to talk about sort of whatever's in the EV news. So let's get on with that. So the first piece of news, Audi are planning an A9. And the A9 was originally supposed to be a four-door super sports sedan internal combustion engine car. But they have decided now that it's going to be a long-range EV with about 300 miles of range. But yes, that's awesome. It's going to be a direct competitor for the Tesla Model S. Now, Audi have come out with an awful lot of proclamations of future EVs and not an awful lot of actual future EVs yet. I'm hoping they're going to actually, produce some of these wonderful vehicles that they keep talking about. I certainly think there'll be a market there for them. They just need to make sure they put some kind of charging infrastructure in place. But we'll see about that. Only the future will tell. And next on the list, Tesla have asked for an extension in providing the NTHSA, the National Transport Highways Safety Agency is the one I'm trying to think of here, with extra information about the autopilot crash where that 40-year-old died. Apparently the reason why they've asked for extra time is simply because they have received extra requests that need more time to sort of process. Probably nothing particularly going on there other than just the usual sort of it takes time to collect the data and to sort of format the Word documents properly. And Porsche are not going to be creating an all-electric 911 anytime soon. That's according to August Ouchleitner. I hate butchering people's names, but he's the man responsible for the design of the 911 and 718, I think. And he has said that he's open to the concept, but he doesn't see a market for it anytime soon. And he also seems to think that the principal purpose of the Porsche Mission E is to help the sort of fleet emissions of Porsche vehicles, thereby enabling them to make more gas guzzlers. Kind of somewhat missing the point there, I think. The thing about an electric car is it can be an amazing vehicle in its own right. Yes, they're different. Yes, the weight of the batteries does make getting around corners quickly an interesting experience, and but it is doable. You just have to apply a bit of engineering prowess, which is what I thought Porsche were into. And also, did you hear? BYD's profits are up 400% because they've sort of really hitting their stride when it comes to EV sales at the moment. So yeah, I mean that's absolutely amazing, obviously, and it's nice to see somebody actually making money from the lower end of the EV market. Isn't Warren Buffett an investor in BYD? I think he is, So, clever guy. We'll do the rest of the news when I go and pick Jasper up, which will be in 6 hours. Yes. Yeah, I got some freedom.
Sorry. Someone just came through the door and I got the fright of my life.
So while my coffee's brewing, let's just add in another news item. Apparently the Tesla Model 3, according to a poll done by Green Car Reports, is the most eagerly anticipated of the new sort of batch of EVs that'll be coming out in the next few years. Well, there's a big surprise. It outpaced all the other competitors by at least a margin of 2-1. And I was quite surprised that the Nissan Leaf doesn't seem to be generating an awful lot of interest. That was, I think, about 8% said they were most excited about that car. Which I think is a shame. I think Nissan need to sort of work on their marketing somewhat. They should take lessons from Elon Musk. He seems to know what he's doing most of the time. Right, coffee's done. Actually, there's no real point talking about this because I've just realised by the time you see this video, you will have already seen the end result of my efforts. Basically, I'm giving Final Cut Pro a chance to shine, and I forgot to plug the car in, which luckily is not going to be a problem. If Tesla do produce a 100D for the Model S and the Model X, and I can't believe they won't. I mean, if they're going to do a P100D and a P100X, it makes no sense to me whatsoever that they wouldn't do a non-performance version. Then the range you'll be able to get out of it should be a solid 300 miles. Even with the Model X, it should be over 300 miles. And with the Model S and a little bit of not driving too quickly, I reckon 350, 400 miles is probably perfectly doable, which is a crazy range. There really is no excuse not to have an EV. If you start every day with 400 miles of range, then even traveling salesmen have got to eat at some point. Little bit of hydrogen news here. Hyundai seem to think that by 2018, they'll be able to produce fuel cell vehicles at half the price of today's models. I doubt that, personally. We'll have to see. Seriously, not a cat's chance in hell. And even if they could, it would still be worse than the kind of cars it's trying to replace. If you think EVs have it bad from an infrastructure point of view, hydrogen is a nightmare. You don't even have the benefit of waking up in the morning with a full battery. So it's not just that infrastructure is a problem when you do long journeys, which it is. The real issue is that infrastructure will be a problem, during your day-to-day commute. And GM say that their Bolt, that's Bolt with a B, not a V, is going to be delivered on time. Good. That certainly is one-upmanship on Tesla, because they have a long, proud history of not ever getting anything to market on time. My big worry with the Bolt, however, is I'm not sure that the GM dealerships can be trusted to actually sell it. And I also worry that without a long-range charging infrastructure in place, it's going to be quite a hard sell. And that's the real advantage the Model 3 will have, is it will be a fully fledged car. It's not going to be a car that is stuck in little, city islands where it can get charging. But if you don't have the long-distance quick charge infrastructure in place, then you're only ever buying half a car, really. I think that's going to be the problem with the Audi A9 as well. I think at this point it's time for an honorary mention of Spacex, because unbeknownst to me, when I created the video a few days ago saying about how sort of tech advances and all the rest of it, I didn't know that they were going to have a rocket explode on the pad pretty much as I was editing the video. So time to head home. Well, I think that's probably about all the news I've got for you today. So I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye. Just how we like it. Need to remember to plug it in this time. Still don't get that whole hydrogen thing. I mean, you can't fill up at home. Hello?